Hello everyone, welcome to our timeless oracle reading. Our oracle card for today belongs to Into the Lonely Woods Oracle by Lucy Cavendish and illustrated by Dan May. When we look at the picture, we see here a big creature and a small one. One is feeling very, very small, and the other is feeling big and clumsy. Oftentimes when we've isolated ourselves for a certain period of time because of the transformative process that we underwent, we were like a caterpillar placing ourselves in a cocoon in order for us to transform. And so we got used to being inside the cocoon. And even the process of getting out of that pupa or that cocoon was already an effort for us. We had to really exert effort. We had to assimilate new things into our life while inside the cocoon, and going out is also another challenging process. But sooner or later, after a certain period of time of solitude, we find ourselves being drawn by nature into a new path wherein we slowly interact ourselves again to the world. I remember something, I don't know if I think it's related to Buddhism, wherein a person in the journey to enlightenment would isolate themselves and go to the forest. But then they don't stay completely or for the rest of their lifetime in the forest. The person following the path of Buddhism, sooner or later, after undergoing transformation and enlightenment, they have to go out of the forest in order to go back to humanity. I could be mistaken with this point of view, but somehow there is a parallelism or a general direction that you can see in other ways of thinking and other religions, wherein there is a stage, maybe not expressively or not directly expressed in other religions, but somehow if you would look into the inner workings of those great religions and great ways of thinking, you would see this journey of going inwards and isolating oneself, enriching oneself, growing, learning, and then sooner or later the need to go out. You are somehow, I feel all of us will resonate with it. After a period of transformation, after a period of silence and solitude, you find yourself being drawn back to the physical world, drawn back to interacting with other people. And because we've been inside the pupa for a long time, we've undergone transformation, there is that feeling of awkwardness or feeling of sometimes also feeling of insecurity, and in a certain sense of how will I interact again with the world. That's why there is that feeling of that little girl in the picture feeling very small, because you have journeyed towards that realization, that of growth in humility, that realization that many of the things before us are beyond our control, and we can only do our part. But then we are also assured that in our smallness, we have the universe to help us. There is also that feeling of this large creature of being clumsy, like we no longer somehow fit into the social mold, wherein our points of views, the way we act, the way we interact with people, is no longer very much fitting to the social norm. You used to follow the social norm before, But because of the liberation that you have underwent, you are no longer afraid to express yourself, and there's a certain relaxed, informal nature in you that somehow makes you feel sometimes a little awkward, a little out of place, but you just have that feeling that you need to be true to your feelings. Oftentimes, as we spend more time with people, you realize that this awkwardness is actually a gift, and people are drawn to this unique expression of yourself. However, there's something that I would like to share with all of you, that after the moment of transformation, the way we interact with the world is already different. We are now more receptive. We are more open with the listening part, feeling part, observing part. Actually, your sensitivity, your receptivity is not just through the physical senses, but also through your intuitive gifts that you have received along the way. So when you enter a group of people, you are more observant. You are not imposing. You are just happy being part of the crowd. And this receptivity allows us to be more dynamic or be more versatile in responding to the changing situation before us. We tend to be more creative in our response as chapters unfold in our life experience. We tend to be more objective also with our point of view. We tend to observe where some people fail in dialogue, and somehow we are able to sometimes diffuse certain tense situations. We also discover that there are different ways of interacting with people. There is that vocal way wherein you talk with them, dialogue with them, and there are non-vocal ways of handling situations. There is that way of petition wherein you are just silent, but you are entrusting the situation to the divine, to your spirit guides. You tend to interact more with your inner world with regards to handling the situation. So oftentimes when there is a difficult situation before you, and somehow you have that by intuition, you already feel, if I will speak, it will just worsen the situation. And so you suddenly become a quiet observer, but also actively participating in the situation by petitioning for the situation, or praying for the situation, or manifesting a better outcome for the situation. So sometimes you find yourself silently observing a situation and praying to the divine, or to the spirit, or to your spirit guides, telling them, I don't know how to diffuse this situation. I could see that they are suffering from the situation, not because they intended to do so. It is because they have difficulty communicating with each other. Like, for example, it can be a situation where people have different languages, and because of that difference of language, they couldn't completely express themselves, and they couldn't completely understand what the other people are saying. Or sometimes people are talking from different levels, and both have wisdom in their points of view, but because they are talking from different levels, they couldn't see eye to eye. And so you find yourself silently observing but silently praying, asking the Spirit to take care of the situation, to diffuse the situation, and to make everybody more open to dialogue, to make everybody desire to come up with a peaceful resolution to the situation. And then you see before you unfolding the peace, the dialogue, the one thing that you have been asking or manifesting in silence. So oftentimes when you find yourself in a certain situation, you realize it's not only through the words that we speak, but sometimes we can pray for it at that moment and at that time. And you suddenly become surprised. The universe suddenly surprises you and shows you that the situation can also be solved if you would just ask for their assistance. And so you approach a situation in a different sense. Sometimes you're just a quiet observer who is asking and praying that the situation will get better. Sometimes somebody would ask for you to pray for them, and you do so, and things turn out for the better. Sometimes when you go to join a certain presentation of a certain person that is very important to you, you are just silently there, but you are silently praying for them. And you see the wisdom of petition, the wisdom of manifestation, the wisdom of interceding for other people. Because you see that after your prayer, immediately the universe responds, and the universe immediately changes the situation for the better. You develop new ways of interacting with people, and your silent presence becomes a gift to others. And you don't want to be anymore in the limelight. Your joy is just making sure that everybody is happy, everybody are coming into accordance with each other. Your message is that of peace. There is a certain journey of the shaman or any spiritual healer, wherein at first they would be actively working for healing, and then they sometimes take the leadership role and they become leaders guiding people through the path. And then there comes a moment when they have to withdraw from the crowd. And that path is that path towards humility, where the person no longer wants to be in the limelight. If in the first two stages they were in the limelight, this time they don't want to be anymore in the limelight. And after that moment of solitude and silence, they come back to nature, or they come back to the world. This time also they are now more dynamic in interacting with the world. It's easier for them to go to the limelight if the situation calls for them to do so, and it is easy for them also to just fade in the cracks of the social interactions, silently working for a better situation, with not minding whether they are noticed or not. You realize that the important thing is for the betterment of every person or everything concerned. So when you come back, your presence becomes truly a gift to the people, and you realize that there are more creative ways of interacting with them, and you no longer desire to be in the limelight. You will find yourself slowly find a comfortable niche with regards to interacting with people. It's a niche wherein you are silently observing, silently working, and when there's a need to do so, you are able to stand up and speak. You start to change people's lives through your life, through your example, and you only speak when there's a need to do so. Well, let's now go to the handbook that accompanies this card, and maybe we can gain more insight regarding your presence is a gift to others. Sometimes we are alone for so long that we begin to wonder if we can still connect. We ask, what will I say? What if I forget how to behave? We miss the presence of others, yet we fear their rejection, that they will never truly know us. Dear soul, you are lovable. When you find yourself once again with others, and if you fall silent wondering what to do, take a breath and let yourself become aware of their presence, and allow your intuition to guide you. You are worthy of friendship and love, and you are very nearly ready to let others in once again. For as you miss others, they miss you too. Your presence is a gift to all who meet you. So don't be afraid if after a long period of solitude you are being drawn to interact with people. Do so and allow yourself to be surprised by the changes that have occurred already in you. And this time you are more wiser, knowing that you don't have to handle the situation alone. You can always silently ask assistance from the Spirit and from your spirit guides. And you find many ways of solving the problem, even if you are just a seemingly quiet observer. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for the likes and comments you've given to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to see you again soon. Until that time, may God continue to bless your ways.